Jon Lawson, the coach at Lafayette High School. Welcome in.
Well, thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate you having me on.
Talk to us a little bit about your schedule you got this year at Lafayette.
Well, our schedule is jam-packed. We have some quality teams, especially the first three teams we play. State-bound teams, well-coached teams, got great athletes on there. Looking forward to the challenge of going against those teams and really seeing where my team is at this point.
Have you had a scrimmage yet?
No, sir. We actually have our first scrimmage this Friday against Bourbon. So we'll be traveling there on this Friday to go challenge them and see how we are and really measure where our team is with the little bit of time that we've had to spend together.
Are you playing in a bowl game this year?
Yes, sir. We are playing in the Fayette County Bowl at Lafayette High School. We will be playing Johnson Central, and Henry Clay will be playing Connor at that time. So it's going to be a great event at Lafayette High School. So I hope all comes out to attend.
That sounds like a good package right there. Real quickly, one of the things that I know that's important to you, important to me when I was coaching, is your assistant coaches, your staff.
Yes, sir.
Can you talk a little bit about your staff?
Well, I'll tell you what, it was a transition when I first took over because I knew I had some staff left over from last year's team, but also knew there were some guys that I had coached with in previous years that I would love to bring back to be a part of my staff. Guys that I trusted and I knew that knew a lot about football. So basically, just starting with my coordinator, Coach Matthews. This is his second run with Lafayette. When we went to the state championship back in 15-16. He was our coordinator then. He came back last year. He was the coordinator last year for the team, and he's continued that role now for us as a coordinator, as well as my assistant head coach, Bailey. Coach Bailey is my defensive coordinator. He also is a guy that was with us a few years back that also came back. He's traveled from Woodford County and a few other places, but he's finishing up his degree, and he is back with us as well. So he's my D coordinator. I got a couple other guys that have come back as far as from other schools. You know, we've been kind of switching out with some coaches. So I picked up Coach Irby that coached at Henry Clay last year. I brought back Coach LaRon Clark, which also coached us back in the day on the state run that we had. Then I got a couple new coaches. I got Coach Atkins that's been out for a couple years, but he coached with us at one point, but he came back. He's going to be my D-line coach. I got Coach Lehman that also coached at Douglas last year. That's going to be our running backs coach this year. Then I also have Jon Lawson, my son. He's come out to be one of my linebacker coaches as well as a freshman coach. And Coach Serafini and Coach Miss Tasha both have been on the program for many years now in some capacity. So Mr. Serafini is going to be my freshman coach, as well as a lot of my logistics. And Miss Tasha just handles everything.
Yeah.
Coach, your style of coaching, what will you bring to Lafayette? You think your style, and are you defensive minded or offensive minded? Tell us about that.
Yeah, I'm definitely defensive heavy on it as far as my knowledge of where I like to be. The intensity and the game, the fast pace of playing defense and getting to the ball is where I like to be. That's where I've spent all of my time at Lafayette, technically, is on the defensive side of the ball. So I have a lot of hands-on in that area there. But overall, my job as the head coach is to make sure the intensity of the practice and the flow of the practice is where we need it to be to make sure we're completely prepared for games on Friday night.
Yeah, and you know what? I think that's a good skill for you too, because what I know about you is you're pretty intense at times. So I think that'll work out just fine. Well, since you mentioned defense, let's talk about defense real quick. Talk a little bit about your defensive personnel or the positions where you're strong at, and, just things that we can look at when we watch you play.
So one of the general things that's going to happen throughout our conversation this evening will be the fact that I have a very raw team, a very inexperienced team. So even with my defense, I only have about 3 or 4 guys that have come back that have played a little bit. A couple of them started last year, but most of them just got a couple reps here and there. So I think those guys are going to help us out a lot. We have Des Hanley and Felix Brady. They're both playing linebacker for us. Henry Hungs will come back and play a little bit of D-line for us. We got a couple guys that they're going to fill in some gaps, but I think on our second level is going to be the strongest area of our defense.
Okay.
And our D-line's got a little bit of growth to go, and our secondary is they're athletic, but they're just young. They're just raw, and they still got a lot to learn with a lot of reps.
Well, Coach, you and I were talking about it. I think you got a two-man battle going on for quarterback, but I think you've kind of settled on a baseball kid, haven't you?
Well, yes, we're leaning towards our baseball kid right now.
Okay. Well, if you're not settled, just that's great. Just
yeah.
I'm just curious, as a media person, I always want to know who the leader of the team is, the quarterback.
Absolutely. Again, we go back to the fact that I have 4 brand new quarterbacks, and one guy is a baseball guy, which we had a pretty good arm on there, and we have 2 guys right now really battling for that position. One's a sophomore, one's a junior. It's really going to come down to what happens in this scrimmage on Friday. We're going to give them both equal reps, and we're going to see what both of them can do under pressure against another team. Yeah. And obviously after that, we're going to have to give that person solo reps going to that game against Johnson Central the following Friday. But right now, they're kind of hanging neck and neck. Kind of know who we want, but at the same time, we're not 100% sure until after that scrimmage.
Well, Coach Meehan and I know Lafayette, when they had Walker Wood, and they had a quarterback, and they had, of course, linemen like Jedrick Wills, and they had running like, they were great back then. They went to state championship, and I'm sure you will help with that team or part of that team. So that's why we ask about the quarterback. We know there aren't many Walker Woods of the world, but we know they're out there.
Yes, they are absolutely out there. And I will say both guys that I've been referring to, they have come in with the understanding that they want to be leaders. They've taken on that challenge of trying to be leaders. Their biggest thing right now is just finding the system, understanding the system, getting the rhythm down with their receivers, and understanding what Matthews is throwing at them so they can learn on the run. And that's where they got to go.
Well, we talked to Brian Station coach yesterday, and he was talking about their scrimmage where it really wasn't a test for his quarterback because they had such a quick whistle. And his quarterback's a scrambler, a guy can get away. And he said they'd put a hand on him and blow the whistle, whereas in a real game. So nothing prepares you for a real football game. But you can look at those other things for your quarterbacks.
Absolutely.
Eyes, technique.
Absolutely.
How his handoffs are, is he deceptive, all that kind of stuff.
Absolutely. So. And that's exactly keys that we're going to be looking for. How well he reads the defense, if he can find the open guy at the right time, and just figuring out that time. And so if he can get a few of those things to some of the playmakers that we have, especially maybe in our short game, I think whoever fills that position is going to do a really good job for us.
And Coach, people watching this show, we're going to make this public. Your quarantine is over with the COVID.
Yes, sir.
And that's the only reason you're wearing a mask because that's out of respect.
Yes,
and
sir.
We appreciate it. So we just want to make that clear on the air.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Well, I thought, he had a handsome face behind there. He wanted to hide that a little bit. But that's all right. That's good. Okay, Gary, his best question. What about special teams? We always want to know about that because we've seen in the years we've been doing prep spin and when we were doing radio too, Lord, games are won sometimes by those kickers and the coverages.
Absolutely. So that is a thing for us. We have searched long and hard to find some kickers.
Did you go to the soccer field?
I've been all over the soccer field. I have a female soccer player as well as a male soccer player.
So does Dunbar. Dunbar's got a female kicker.
Yes, so I have reached on both sides of that to get some people out. We do have one guy that came back from last year, Casey Herr. He's a guy that's kicked for us before, and I do have a new guy that's a freshman soccer guy that's going to help us out a lot. We do have a great special teams coordinator in Corey Lehman. We've put together some great plans with all our special teams. As far as getting that implemented, it's going to take a lot of reps, and we're going to make sure that our kicker puts us in a position that we can be successful at all times.
What about punter?
That one right there we're still kind of working on. We got a couple guys that are trying to fill that slot, but I believe we're leaning towards a basketball guy that has now come out to play football for us. His name is Jack Ackerman. He's got a pretty good leg on him, and a few times we've had him back there. He's got some great distance and some great time on the ball in the air, so I think he's going to end up being our punter.
That's what we like to hear. Just training people, getting them ready.
Get them from everywhere.
All right, one more thing. What about goals? Tell me about what your goal. Everybody down deep has a goal to win a state championship, but we've talked to all these coaches the last couple of days, and their goals kind of progress. What they want to do in the season. One coach said, I want to have a strong second half as I had a first half, and so on. What are your goals?
Oh, absolutely. So here, with my crew, our goal has been, first of all, just to change the culture and attitude of our team. It was a little bit off from where I would want it to be as a coach.
Yeah, but Lafayette is not a 2-win team, a 3-win. You're much better athletes and football players than that.
Absolutely.
You know that.
Absolutely. And even with that, if you don't have the right mindset,
Yep.
it doesn't matter how good athletes you have out there. You know what I'm saying? If they're not willing to work or work hard or do things they need to do to be successful, you can have all athletes in the world. I mean,
That's
the
right.
greatest advantage I have is I have the biggest school in the state of Kentucky to choose from. And I'm using every aspect of it to get every athlete that I can get. I got basketball, wrestling, soccer players. I'm going from everywhere to get them all out there.
I think that's great, Coach.
Yes.
I think that's fantastic.
Absolutely. So just with that being said, I think part of it is just building that culture that they understand what they have to do on the day-to-day to be really successful. And for our team, we were always so defeated, from what I understand last year, because I wasn't there the last 2 years, but based on what the coaches were saying, we were most of the time defeated before we even got out there. So you can't win a game if you already feel like you're going to lose when you step on the field.
right.
Okay?
That's right.
So that's just not where we are anymore. I got a bunch of guys that have bought in. They want to be there. They're working hard. We're teaching accountability, discipline, and hard work. Now, again, I have a great problem to have. I've gone from 40 guys when I started back in March to 104. Now, I've increased my players, my athletes like crazy. Now, the thing is, they're all brand new kind of guys.
Yeah.
So the good thing about it is they don't have any bad habits. The bad thing about it is they need a lot of reps to get to where they need to be.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so our goal is to progress every week as a team to get better and better individually. So as a team, we're going to be very good by the second half of the season. Those first 3 or 4 games, we're going to have to fight with a lot of heart to play with those teams. They're great teams that we're about to play and experienced teams. And those are teams that we really have to learn to fight through at that time. So as long as we fight and continue to work hard throughout that whole game, we're going to learn to be better. And by the second half of the season, we're going to be a great team.
John, I tell you what, I wish you all the luck in the world. I think a lot of you. I think you know that. And I just wish that everything goes well for you. We're going to have the city teams are all getting better and better.
Yes.
And we want
Coach.
Lafayette to be right up there with everybody.
Coach, listen to the schedule. They open up with Johnson Central, powerhouse.
Monster. Where do you play
Scott
them?
At Lafayette.
Oh, that's good.
at Scott County,
Yes, sir.
and then at Douglas,
Yes, sir.
at Bryan Station,
That's a good one.
and then Clark County, and then Henry Clay at Lafayette, and then Dunbar. I mean, that's a
heck of a schedule.
strong schedule.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
But you got to play the toughest
You do.
to find out what kind of team you have.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's what's going to happen for us. We're going to stay strong. As long as we stay healthy and we learn from those games and we compete and do the things that we need to do as a team to be successful, we're going to be great towards the end.
When you come to Rafferty's, Coach Lawson, what's a favorite thing on their menu that you like to get?
I tell you what, I've been dieting for a lot for the last couple of years, so I can't really say for sure my favorite, but I'm going to say these buffalo tenders right here look like they're going to be pretty good for me.
Yeah. Well, Coach, we want to give you a gift card from Rafferty's. There's a gift card for doing
Yes,
the
sir.
show.
Thank you. Oh,
Thank
my
you
bad.
very much.
Appreciate it.
I almost dropped the ball, Coach. I
We're
tell you,
good. We're
I've been a
good.
fumble.
Yep.
I
I
think
dove on it.
turnover. Keep those turnovers down, Coach.
Yes,
Keep
sir.
those turnovers down. We appreciate you coming on the show. Good luck at Lafayette. We'll see you on press spin.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Appreciate your time.
Jon Lawson, head coach at Lafayette High School, the Generals. We'll come back and Chad Pennington, head coach of Sayre. He'll wrap up our show, Coach. It'll be the wrap on
That's
the show.
it. We've had a good 2 days.
Yeah, we talked to all the coaches, but Sayre, and we'll talk to Chad in a couple minutes. Thank you, Coach Lawson. You
All
do a
right.
great job at Lafayette.
Thank you. Appreciate
And
it.
we'll be back with more on the Press Spin preview show after this.
I can't.
Have some Mingy.
This is a Mingy moment.